Hey guys, it's Ben here, and I wanted to bring you guys into a new series I'm starting here in the channel called Memory Lane, and it's where I'm going to go back, take a look at some older games, see how they've held up over the course of time, and one game that just seems like a no-brainer to do with the imminent release of Call of Duty Ghost is going to go back and look at Infinity Ward's saga with the Modern Warfare series, starting off here with Call of Duty 4. Now, Call of Duty 4 came out in 2007, which is very hard to believe. That was Halo 3's year, and I think the Orange Box came out too, and GTA 4. But um, I remember being extremely excited, being a huge Call of Duty fan since about Finest Hour on the GameCube. Well, it also came out for the PlayStation and the Xbox, I'm pretty sure. But having being relatively young and playing an army game was the cool thing to do back then, and I had never seen anything like Call of Duty 4. I remember I beat Call of Duty 3 on my PlayStation 3, played through it a bunch of times, especially on veteran. Having no high-speed internet was a big issue for me. So the single-player campaigns were where it was at, trying to complete everything. And I remember seeing Call of Duty 4 and just thinking how are they going to be able to do any of this? Like a modern shooter, we've always been stuck in World War II, and it looked so badass. I remember watching seeing clips of the Gillies in the Mist mission and thinking like my imagination almost couldn't fathom what the game was going to be like at all. So very excited. I remember the game finally launched, and I think I was like, let's see, so 6 years ago I was 14 when Call of Duty 4 launched. I picked it up the day after it came out, and I didn't go to school for a couple days, I'm pretty sure, just playing through the campaign, and it ended up becoming one of my favorite games of all time. Um, I really when it came to the story, I thought they set something up, at least based on the trilogy, that they really had an idea of where they wanted to go with it. Um, Whether Modern Warfare 2's story was organic or not, whether they actually had full intention when they made Modern Warfare 1 to continue on with the story is beyond me. But setting up multiple set pieces in the first one, I thought were genius. One thing that's always kind of stuck out in my mind and was very ominous was when the nuke drops. I think you're Captain Woods. And here you are stumbling around a playground, just suffering heavily from radiation. You're about to die, and you're walking around, and you can see this this new dystopia after the nuke drops. I think you're in Iraq, so in this desert setting, and flying in the helicopter and having that thing wipe out while you're still inside of it after the nuke drops, unreal stuff. And being 14, of course, you're going to be sitting there wide-eyed, jaw dropped, it's going to be the
And I
coolest thing
know
you've ever seen.
multiplayer was a
And for
very
me,
prominent part to a
it
lot of
was.
people. It essentially set what would be the formula for most Call of Duty multiplayer games. Even Treyarch, you look at the Call of Duty games that they put out and the implementations that they took from the Modern Warfare series. After COD 4, there was World at War, which took you back into World War II, and I think that's where you really saw the dynamic shift between the two developers. But as far as the multiplayer product goes, both essentially tried to stay the same because Modern Warfare 1's was so popular and so generally accepted, and balance-wise, there was probably some issues, but it's the cement now that we're going into this fourth modern Infinity Ward game, and there's nothing we're still using the mechanics that we had back in Call of Duty 4, which really just show how groundbreaking it really was.
For me, I didn't get a chance to experience a lot of the immediate multiplayer functionality. Like I said, having a childhood where you didn't necessarily have high-speed internet or even could play a lot of online games in general. It kind of gave me an appreciation for the single-player campaign side of things a little bit more than most would, I think, accept it.
just because like the farthest multiplayer experience I got to have were having somebody sit beside me and we would do 1v1 on shipment, and like it doesn't compare to multiplayer aspects. Of course it doesn't, but I remember the times that I did have with the multiplayer then were fun and split screen, but buying a 360 a couple years later and picking up Call of Duty 4, going back and playing the multiplayer, I was blown away, and I wish I had been able to experience it back then for the first time, all of the different weapons and the perks and whatnot, because it still holds up well. Like I jumped into a multiplayer match, you can see in the footage below, and I played like shit, but it's still tons of fun. There's still a lot of people who play it if you can get into an unhacked lobby, and I remember like prominent memories for me playing the online multiplayer just recently on the 360, or getting together with a bunch of friends, going on shipment, jacking the score up to 1,000 or 100 kills or whatever, and either doing quick scopes or just lolzing around, because that is essentially what these games aim to do. They're trying to they want to be something that you can go back to and play. I would hope that they're trying to aim to be like this, but something that is going to remain prominent in your mind. Of course, I don't think it comes close to Halo 3's level of custom games and fun like that, but Call of Duty 4 is a completely different animal from Halo. So playing the multiplayer for that and using what was there, you were able to have tons of fun, whether it be in the public matches or the private matches. I kind of wish, and this is one thing I thought of back then, is that they had a co-op element. I love a split campaign like that, the way to draw another comparison to Halo, the way they've done it, which allows you to play cooperatively through the campaign. But that's one thing I would have liked to have, whether it have been playing the Call of Duty 4 campaign split screen, or playing having a cooperative mode that they would add later on in Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Just having something that I could play with somebody else wasn't one thing I always wanted. But as far as overall, playing it today is still one of the best games you can play today. Being 6 years old, you are going to notice a little bit of drop in graphical fidelity from, per se, Battlefield or even the new Grand Theft Auto, but it's aged extremely well. The gameplay mechanics are still spot on. Like, of course, none of that's going to deteriorate over time. It's not food, but if I were to suggest anything, it's to go back and play Call of Duty 4, kind of see, like, especially if you haven't, if you somehow managed to not play Call of Duty 4, go and diversify your history a little bit and do your homework, because with like Call of Duty Ghosts right around the corner and the correlating Mythbuster series along with it, like, there's going to be a lot of exposure there, and to at least go back, see where the Modern Warfare series came from. It's almost humbling to go back and play the very first of the Modern Warfare franchise. So enough about my personal experiences with it. What were your guys' favorite memories, whether it be across the single player or the multiplayer aspects of Call of Duty 4, if you can remember, or just any memory whatsoever? Maybe you went to the midnight launch when it was coming out, or you have that, like, your interpretations on some of the key campaign moments during the game. Let me know what you think. I've spent enough time talking about it myself that I could bore a million people, but go ahead and drop a comment down below. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. So hopefully you guys like this video, and we'll see you in Modern Warfare 2.